Hey everybody, good morning. Yes, it's 10 a.m. We have some new information, just came down the pipe about 5 to 10 minutes ago that Maria is now a Category 3 hurricane. The Air Force Reserve hurricane hunters went into the storm and reported that the northeastern section of the eye wall has started to really become more predominant and has strengthened. So the initial intensity has increased to about 100 knots, so making Maria a major hurricane, Category 3 right now. So I want to give you a quick look at what we're seeing right now on the satellite view, basically the view that hurricane hunters are looking at. So there's Maria headed right now for the Leeward Islands. Some of the key messages from the National Hurricane Center about Maria is that it will be affecting portions of the Leeward Islands and the British and U.S. Virgin Islands as an extremely dangerous major hurricane in the next couple of days. So they do have hurricane warnings that are in effect right now for these islands. Maria is also likely to affect Puerto Rico, and it will still likely be a dangerous major hurricane when it hits Puerto Rico as well. So they'll probably be issuing some hurricane warnings in Puerto Rico later today. Hey Bobby, hey Michael. This, of course, is horrible news because these islands that we're looking at right now are still trying to pick up the pieces from Irma. I still had Irma on the brain. I sent out an email to my producers and I said Irma is a major hurricane, but I quickly resended that because we're talking about Maria now down on the list. So Jose is still right now riding up the eastern seaboard. Some of the outskirts of the cloud shield are probably impacting portions of the Delmarva Peninsula, but mainly just seeing a great deal of swells and some high surf. Hey Robert, good morning. So let's talk about the track of these storms. So there's Maria. Right now it has 120 mile per hour winds moving west-northwest at 10 miles per hour. That west-northwesterly movement will pretty much impact portions of northern Puerto Rico and into the Dominican Republic. You can tell in the forecast track that west-northwesterly movement will probably continue, and it's moving so quickly right now, potentially even a Category 4 hurricane by tomorrow morning. Hey Christy, hey Johnny, hey Freddie, morning James. So portions of Santo Domingo and Puerto Rico bracing for this major hurricane and watching the days ahead as we move into Wednesday. It does hit that high topography on the islands, but it doesn't look like it's weakening much, and it's moving into an environment that is conducive for strengthening. So Maria continues on its west-northwesterly trek by Friday, potentially impacting the islands of the Bahamas. And of course, nobody likes to see this because we just went through this with Irma. By Saturday, potentially seeing it moving back down to a Category 3, but at this juncture, it doesn't really matter what category it is. It's a hurricane, and it's going to have some pretty big impacts on folks right now. They're trying to clean up and go back to normal, but right now there is no normal for the islands. Here's Hurricane Jose, just for a little perspective. It's a Category 1 hurricane, 75 mile per hour winds, and it's parallel to the Carolinas, parallel to Raleigh, so it's still offshore. We expect it to continue its trek north-northeastward. Right now it's moving due north at 9 miles per hour. But by tomorrow and into Wednesday, we still expect Jose to make that easterly turn and then back south again as we head towards the latter part of the week. So, yeah, nobody likes to hear that this just in, that Maria is now a major Category 3 hurricane. A lot of the trees that came down with Irma, they're down, they're gone. Checking in with a lot of folks in my Floridian family, and most everybody has got their power back, but I think the longest I heard was 172 hours without power. That's Nikki Morosco down there in Seminole. So after Saturday, the noodles, yeah, the noodles. Okay, so I typically don't like to show the spaghetti plots, but let me see if I can pull that up for you really fast. The spaghetti plots, they're the hurricane forecast potential tracks. and they could show, you know, a general consensus of where they think this is heading. I'd like to know what causes hurricanes to start up off the coast of Africa. It's called tropical. It's called a tropical wave that comes off the coast of Africa. It's from the extreme climate differentiation between the humid and moist environment of the Atlantic and the dry and arid environment that's over the portion of Africa where the tropical waves come from. So let me get into the right storm here. Let me see here. Yeah, these spaghetti plots, I wouldn't show them on television because I'm pretty sure my bosses would put my nerd hat on, and there's definitely not enough time to even go through all these spaghetti plots. But since we're on the internets, let's see what Maria has to offer right now, if she's got any. Okay, so I have pulled it up. Let's see what we got here. No, James, definitely not. Here are the forecast models for Maria. So it shows this storm system, all of the general consensus of the storms through Puerto Rico, that's for sure, and impacting the Bahamas. There are, of course, some woes if this scenario pans out for coastal Georgia and the Carolinas. So there are a few forecast models that continue to trend more towards the Carolina coast. The general consensus right now keeps it out in the Atlantic, more along the lines of Jose's track, but we'll still have to watch that in the coming days. So if you're just joining us, let me rewind here and show you what we expect. These are some of the computer models of Maria. So Thursday, Puerto Rico, impacting Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic, the U.S. and British, the U.S. Virgin Islands and the British Virgin Islands, they'll definitely be impacted in the next couple of days. And the computer models take you out to Monday. And at that point, I think that we'll definitely have a better grasp on what's happening here. And it will be based on your local weather. So that's why I always encourage people to watch the local forecast, because these systems are only a product of the environment that they go into. But right now, Maria is in an environment that supports strengthening. So Maria, category 3, it is 10:15 on Monday morning. And if we get any new updates, I will be sure to let you know. I asked because I have a condo in the... Yeah, you got to watch out. Anything along the eastern seaboard. Jose is already causing some pretty high surf out there in the Atlantic. So hopefully it does miss the Carolinas. Pretty much the entire deep south is connected, so a lot of folks in Alabama may have interests on the coast of Georgia or in the Carolina coast. Anything south of the Mason-Dixon line, we're all friends, right? So Floridians, keep your eyes on Maria, because no matter what, it's going to cause pretty much a good bit of rough surf, some rip currents, and some pretty big swells on the east coast of Florida. So everybody be safe, and check in with your local weather person. Hey, Christy, no problem. Hey, Robert. Anything on Tropical Storm Lee? Lee is a tropical depression now. So let me see if I see anything on the chat. Yeah, Lee's depressed. So no need to worry our heads about Lee. I think one of the big factors is Hurricane Maria, which coincidentally was my favorite name for my dolls when I was a kid. So hopefully she won't cause any trouble. I'll see you guys later.